Hi, John here. It's Wednesday today, the 25th of March 2015. It's 6:45 a.m. in the morning in Auckland, New Zealand. It's around about 18 degrees and warm weather. So now I just want to catch up with you because the last video I made, one of them didn't have much sound in it. So I'm just going to run over a few of the issues I had on it and hope that the sound will come out. I had to turn the volume right up so that it can be heard. I'm going to try and fix it up though. Anyway, here we are. We're in the final stages of seizing the land, the 2.8 hectares of land on 1/61 Cook Street. I've been going on about it for a long time, but it has taken that long to arrest the property and those who are concerned with it in the fraud. It is a mass fraud. Would be one of the biggest in the world as far as the Queen and her agents are concerned with alienation of the land and alien title. I've just been looking at the origines in Australia in the same native title situation. If we follow each other and learn from what's going on in Britain, with them dividing and ruling themselves, now with Scotland going, then that's going to have ramifications for disaster in the British system of how they govern other countries, and with the Crown Corporation sneaking in the middle of it and taking it into private contracts, which is what we're doing here on this land block. Private contract. Queen Elizabeth II, that's a private company. Queen Elizabeth II, listen, that's a private company of the Queen's that she's mortgaged by the Vatican. Okay? Just to let you know, the alienation of sovereignty, of someone's sovereignty with their birth certificates and their social security numbers and their names in capitals. That's what we're talking about here in Australia, Canada, New Zealand and Britain. Now that we have a problem amongst the politicians in any government that's running their parliament sovereignty, as if they were the sovereign people of the land. Now, it's going to erupt before long that the people have suddenly realized that they're getting screwed over of their resources, their land, and their own personal title to themselves have been owned by the Crown Corporation from Britain and Europe. So those two conglomerates of elite people are running the real world in the 1% that we are going up against now. I'll just make this brief point about King William IV, Lord High Admiral. That is the title that I'm using legally as his spokesperson and surrogate King of England, only inheriting his commercial title to the banks and to trade under this flag of a Constitution of 1985, the Declaration of Independence, and as the four-nation state. Okay, four-nation state, England, Wales, Ireland and Scotland are now broken down of their Union Jack flag And you can see that happening in Australia and New Zealand with the Union Jack flag falling apart at the seams because Ireland pulled out first and now Scotland's going to pull out, that's for sure. And England is reeling from them leaving like divorce. It's just like divorce. And so they're going to be left with a half a flag in Britain, a half a flag, only England and Wales. And here we have a full flag, okay? We have a full flag of a king that's still there in a private commercial contract, okay? This is a private commercial contract, and that's what I inherit with talking for the King of England and as the King's Bench Royal Revenue creditor. This flag of the bank money, pound notes and coins of King William IV. You'll see that on our Facebook site. I don't have to go over that again, but I just want to concentrate for you to pick up on any land that has a mortgage on it, and any freehold land has still got a title put on it from Westminster, Britain. Okay, so when you look at America, that's been alienated by the same Britain, the Queen of England, through King George III, of an admiralty title to the land of America. Now, what happened after that? King George III went mad. That's why Obama's going mad. That's why you Americans are mad. Because you're following in their footsteps of a culture that's come from Britain onto a native American land, a native Canadian land, a native Australian land, and a native New Zealand land. The Pacific Islands have been bombarded with the same animal from Britain. So, because we're still one piece, I'll still be standing here while a lot of politicians have gone past and gone lost and ran away, like Judy Collins, the Minister of Police, and then Dan Tolley, the Minister of Police, and now we've got another new Minister of Police. So they keep shifting like sands, loose sand. Okay, that's what this alienation and Vice Admiral, not a real Admiral, a Vice Admiral, was just an image title. An image title on land. They just took a picture, put some Maoris in it, right, in New Zealand. They created Maori. This is the Crown Corporation of Rothschild and the Queen and the Vatican. They created this fictitious document with Maori on it and iwi, then made everybody that's brown Maori, and some white ones too. So they labelled them, put a label on, and they split them up into groups on land blocks no bigger than 10 acres. But then they had big acres for the white men's. Okay, the white man came here to get big acres because they had the money to pay the rates for the big acres. That's what I'm saying about this land block on 161 Cook Street. It's no different to the land in England, Canada, Australia, and America, and Britain. So, just to put you on the right path, I'm just doing this 6-year exercise to catch them in the fraud. Okay? Before, during, and after the fraud. That goes with the Queen in the Lisbon Treaty. She signed with Gordon Brown, that's a Scottish guy, signed with her, and they took the sovereignty out of Britain and took it into the EU Parliament. Okay? That's how that started off. Now, she locked a caveat, a lapsed caveat, for 7 years. If you get a caveat for 7 years, just like how we did, 7 years, I tracked her just before she signed the Lisbon Treaty on her 7-year caveat. This is, I'm talking about land, resources, and everything that's got her head on it. So we got, so she had this caveat on the 1st of November 2014. It matured. That means she forced it into law. She forced it into law, which allowed her to rule as what she had written, the New World Order. Okay, so I did the same thing. It's all affidavits. You'll see all the way through the letters I've been sending to her, the governments, that I was doing the same thing too over these lands to protect them on all indigenous lands in the world. No one else has done that. It only took her and I to look at each other on where she gets her authority from to practice admiralty. She's neither an admiral or she's neither a corporate business until recently. Okay, so now, like me, she's a CEO of her private companies. Washington, D.C., Buckingham Palace, Her Majesty the Queen and Right of New Zealand, Her Majesty the Queen and Right of Australia, Her Majesty the Queen and Right of Canada, and federal state government of United States. Okay? And also Queen Elizabeth II. That's the one that's mortgaged to the Vatican. Okay? The Rothschild banks have mortgaged her citizens, all her flock of citizenship and sovereignty under her head of state countries. Okay? And New Zealand is one of them. So, we get back to who owns England and who owns New Zealand. You see, so we're going back to the patent land title. The patent land title is the organic, historic, ancestral connection to the land by memorial. Okay, so what they have done in all their time, from 1830 onwards, from King William IV, they've stuck their memorials all over the country. New Zealand, Canada, Australia, India, Africa, and so on, of their obelisks. Now, the obelisk is just another memorial. It does not belong to them. They've mirrored themselves around the black African man in Giza, where the pyramids come from. And they used the pyramid, they borrowed it. Just like our Moai statue, they borrowed it and stole it and took it to England. You see? So that's our memorial, standing in Queen Elizabeth Great Court in London. So that's why I'm saying to you people, watching these videos, if you're standing on the land, whoever's got a memorial that's as old as the hills is the organic patent land owner. He says, I was here and I saw you coming up the beach onto the land and you settled there by force of a gun. Okay, so that's how it is. When you go to court in a King William IV High Court of Admiralty, you're going to be faced with that question. Who are you? Where did you come from? What's your surname? And who are you swearing your oath of office to? And who do you get your sovereignty from? And which jurisdiction are you using today? So those are the questions I'm asking these police. That's what I did to the State of Victoria Governor, Alex Chernoff. I wrote to him. I phoned his office. I wrote and said, you cannot use Queen Victoria as your monarch on the 23rd of December 2014 when you open your parliament from the lower house and the upper house. because they were going to use it. They were going to borrow it. I said, no, Britain hasn't even got one either. They've got no sovereignty or monarch because the Queen took it into the EU Parliament. I'm making this graphic picture here of where the police sits in all of this. You see, when I'm doing Cook Street, the latest the police have said after 6 years is this. They don't want to have anything to do with 61 Cook Street. You see, because it's too dangerous in a commercial contract levy with the King. Because they've got no Queen. And what are they going to swear their oath to now? Well, I'll tell you what happened. When the Queen signed the Lisbon Treaty, and she came out in the 1st of November, it made her officially an ordinary person. Okay? It made her an ordinary person, a CEO. She cannot legally abdicate to Prince Charles, Prince William, or anyone else for that matter, because she's a CEO of her private companies, just like me. The only difference between me and her is that I've got King William IV as a contract partner in all the commerce and revenue, the King's royal revenue of all the money that she's collected for the King in the courts. So that's what I'm telling everybody. The King still owns what she's picked up illegally and sees all the proceeds of crime back into the King's bench court. Okay? And that's what these pound notes are for. That's what these pound notes are for, people. It's to bill the proceeds of crime, which is here rampant in the police in Auckland, in New Zealand, in the Central Police Station. And so we're going back to bill them the pound notes, okay? That's King William there, alright? King William there. Right. We have the legal right to salvage under Admiralty law, court-martial's law, to seize everything and bill them with the note. Anything missing, the gold, the 1 million tons of gold, or 750,000 tons of gold, that's about over 1 million pounds of gold. So we seize it by billing them on invoice. Okay, so the Queen and her police are liable and invoiced in the Auckland Central Police Station against the proceeds of crime which they're operating, the 14 police companies, private and corporate companies, at the back of the station. Okay, I went in there to get them to help me with 161 Cook Street. They said they're not part of the police up the front. Now, what does that tell you? It's on camera. It's on camera. I haven't put it on yet, but it's on camera. That's what they said. I'm citing them every part of the way on everything they say. The same as Tony Gildenise, the station manager at Auckland Central Police Station. He's a friend of mine for a long, long time, so he's got my history of circumstantial evidence. Now, as far as I'm concerned, he has no circumstantial evidence from the landowners, the registered landowners, proprietors of that property. Simon Brent Roundtree and James Pierce Brown. I've met them both in person. So today I'm expecting a call from James. I guess he's the older of the two. And there's only one thing he's going to have to tell me, is that he's forfeiting the property back to me, and he's going to get his money back from the lawyers, the conveyancing lawyers, who are the culprit in this fraud case. The lawyers are the culprits in this 14 companies of the police. They have 14 companies in the police and 14 contracted companies to administer the business of the police. Okay? I'm auditing that and auditing the Queen's business in London, the HM Treasury. And I've just been reading early this morning some information on the Lords, how they are saying that Alex Salmond, the original first Prime Minister of Scotland, is dangerous. He's a dangerous man. Get rid of him. You see? Because I think he's been reading what I'm saying. Get rid of the Lords. You don't need them when you've got a king. Now, I'm a bit late getting there, Jamie and I, because this land block and the police have held me up right to the last minute, over 6 years. And these two owners didn't know that's how bad it was. Right? That's how bad it was. And they thought, oh, why did you pick on our property? That's what James said to me. Why did you pick on our property? I said, it's because that was the only property I ever wanted to do, because the chief said to do that property. Okay, I'm not alone. I'm not in this by myself, for myself. When I talk about we, I, and me, okay, it's just a job. I am there to do the native assessor's job of checks and balances of a government that's gone off the rails, and police that's gone off the rails with the roast busters. Okay, so I can go on one way or the other. Anyway, I just want to get back to this Queen business. Why they've got no Queen in Australia, with Alex Salmond, the governor of the state of Victoria, are using that authority to go into the Commonwealth of Australia, right? That's another government, Commonwealth of Australia government, and the state of Victoria, state government, local state government, and then from there to the Commonwealth government of Australia into the federal state of Australia in Canberra. You see, three governments, and they were going to sneak in Queen Victoria, only because Victoria State was founded by Lord Melbourne on Victoria through King William, Admiralty. They could not have got there without an Admiralty ship getting there. Okay, an authority higher than what Queen Victoria is. Okay, so that's why I'm talking like that, because I inherit King William IV's commercial contracts with the flag, and his money, and his commerce, and trade in free passage through the world. Okay, and that flag is still flying on the Ocean Monarch ship. Go and check it out on Google. You'll see it flying on the front of the bow and up on the mast on top. That ship can go anywhere in the world and trade in any country because of King William IV created the commerce and the bank notes from Bank of England and the military to protect their business between Britain, UK, and here, New Zealand. That's it. Nobody else. Then the Queen took it around the world and screwed everything out of it, then spent the money on military, because that's what this flag is for, military. Not the Union Jack flag, but this flag. She spent it on the military, shooting everybody up. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, when I get to England, is take it off her. Because she's gone now, because I'm going to fill her boots in the trust, as the head trustee, and legally. Okay? Because no one else has succeeded to that. Only us have succeeded to his contract. They have not got a contract in the Queen's department. They only collect money on the Queen's Council and the Queen's Bench. But when you look into the courts, it's got the King's Bench there. Right? So unless someone stood up and spoke for the King, they'll just carry on. Well, that's changed now, because we got this in front of them. Okay? This in front of them. We got this note to build them. Okay? For the fraud and for the corruption and for everything else that's gone wrong in their system. Right? It's falling apart. Okay. Now, next, I'm going to get back onto the 1/61 Cook Street. The other video was similar to this one. It's gone quiet because you can't hear the sound. I hope this one comes out because I don't want to switch it off. I'm going to read out the complaint that I made to the Auckland Central Police Station. When I went there, I went to register on Monday. I went to register a complaint for the first time in 6 years. A first time in 6 years, because I've collated everything, the research, right down to a T. Now, it was time to put the complaint in. So, I goes down to see the owners. I gave them their invoice in person to Simon Roundtree. The first time I've met him either. And put him on video. Because that's my business. I have a legal right to film anybody as a native assessor, landowner, owner of these lands that they're occupying. Okay? I'm here with the King and his flag and the jurisdiction over all to do what I'm doing. Not a spy, although it's a spy camera. I'm there as the checks and balances over the government in exile. They are not the original government of this country. The Hapu government is. Okay? It's still trying to get its feet on the ground. It's very difficult. So, I've decided to do it in England and go dual government with the British government, the new one, after the 7th of May 2015, when they've got rid of all the drones in there and the ones who are sitting there elected out of wedlock into the House of Lords. So there's ministers in there that shouldn't be in there. And they're the ones that are ruining it. Okay, so it's best to get rid of them and rehire them under the King William. Monarch, sovereign. Okay, so the Queen's gone now, so that's the end of it. The Queen is out of the picture. And so you're left high and dry here in New Zealand. A ship without a paddle, or a paddle without a ship. Okay, in this instance, the Vice Admiral here, and their Admiralty and Maritime Law, is a paddle without a ship. Okay? That's telling you, a paddle without a ship, without a queen, without a monarch, without a sovereign. Tell me, where is your sovereign? Tell me, where is your monarch? What are you using as your authority? And you're going to get a new flag. What for? What's wrong with that flag? We're not going to change our flag, so why should you? Because it's broken. That's why. It's ripped in half. When Scotland goes, it's completely cut in half. Okay? So is yours. It's cut in half. What? In quarters. The Union Jack flag in New Zealand is cut in quarters. That flag was made for war. This flag was made for peace. Okay? King William didn't want that with his name all over it. Okay, but they've usurped our flag, and that's third party in our contract. The same as what's happened with the police here. Why they're getting billed £1 trillion a day, plus 20% tax on top of that. Okay, you'll see the bill there online. It's not there for nothing, but it adds up. I can account for all of that money and the Ponzi schemes and the banks flicking it over 9 times, the money that's not there. So that's what's wrong with this title. It's a fraud mortgage. It's got a number of things wrong with it. Tony Gallon hides in the police station, or Auckland Central Police Station. Why he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. That's what they'll plead ignorance. Until someone complains. You see, listen to this. Listen to what I'm just going to say. He blocked the justice of me making a complaint. Officially making a complaint in the station. I had every right to write a complaint. The girl went away and said, "Oh, John's filming me. I don't like it." And he had to come out and see me because he wouldn't come and see me when I was writing and phoning up and leaving messages on his phone. This went on for days and days and days, weeks. This is how you get an appointment. You make it look like he has to come out because it's getting into a confrontational looking situation when you're intruding on their space. Well, people go around filming the police all the time, even in Britain, around the world. In America, if you film the police, they'll shoot you. Why? It's because this flag will shoot you and hang you if you break their law. This is federal law, okay? This is federal law that will hang you. That's why I talk like that. I'm talking with our King's flag because that's what it says in the Acts of Westminster Parliament under King William IV, 1830 to 1837. This is 1835, right in the middle of it. Okay? It's a legacy. It is the legal authority over this country and pretty well over the world. Okay? In commerce. Only commerce in only that king or queens made mortgages was King William IV, and mortgages and loans in banks, okay, and protection of military, okay, not navy, military, to protect our business trade and banking interests, okay. So this flag is a financial interest in our land on top of our land title patent, okay. So this is how it is. The complaint. I'm getting on to the complaint now to finish this video. It's a bit long, but I need you to know, so you know and won't forget. The complaint that I put never got written. So what did I do? I put it on a video so I can tell you. I'm just going to read it out, but that's for people who don't watch Facebook. I have to put it on video because they never go on Facebook because they don't trust it. Well, sorry to say, that's where all the information is and all the politicians go, and pretty well everything on social media gets around quick. That's how you get votes and know where all the action is. Okay? So the complaint. Back to the complaint. I'll read it out in a minute, and then you know. You can hear what I'm saying, what I wanted to write, and he stopped me by saying, direct any complaints to him. Right? Not the front desk. To him. You see? It's because he's from my friend. Treating things quite seriously here, in that it's not going to change the bill and the invoice. It's too late. It's gone. It's gone in Scotland Yard. It's in the High Court of Admiralty in London and the British military. Okay, so any one of those actions comes under this flag to protect the business and these pound notes that I have. Okay, I got every right to speak like a king, look like a king, act like a king, and do the king's business. And they stopped my business. They underestimated what I was doing, okay, because of ignorance. The ignorance is the cost of the bill of offending me and my chiefs on my land. I can say my land because I mean our land. When I talk about me, I, and me, it simply means I'm doing all the work and writing it. Nobody else. There ain't no one else good enough to put this together with patience and persistence all the way through. I'm still there. The ministers and all the crooks are gone. They've either been sacked like Aaron Pascoe and Mike Clement, shifted, right? Booted out because it looks too hard to face this and the king. Okay? So the complaint. Right. My complaint, hang on, my tea's going cold. Oh, my biscuits. Anyway, the complaint is now public on the video and on Facebook. And if this is what was going to happen, the complaint had the police in it as third party temperers of my evidence to my contract, private contract, levy. Now that's serious. That's serious. Because that's, you're talking banks in that Admiralty language. Banks are Admiral. Okay? Banks are Admiralty under these notes. So, that's my complaint. Not put on the counter, made public. Okay. Now it's public through video and Facebook. Now, when the owners of the land call me today, James Pierce Brown, then I'll hear what he's going to say. But we have the debt collectors to move straight in on the block of land. Now, if anyone complains, like the owners or the tenants, it's going to bring all this up. And it's going to land the police and the politicians and the whole lot of who I alleged in their complaint. And it'll be them to pay the court. So it'll go to their court. If they're going to do that, it's a waste of time. Because I'll just write to the court and tell them you've got no jurisdiction over me and deflect. And you've got no queen either. And your oath of office to what? It's a waste of my time going in the court, people. Because I'll stand on the other side of the bar and tell them to get off my land. Because they'll have to tell me who they're swearing the oath to. It has to be the Queen. If it's not the Queen, they're out of here. Because they come under Westminster. They cannot make their own assumptions of sovereignty they haven't got. They got their sovereignty from Parliament, which got it out of thin air. Because the Queen's not there to give it to them. Because if she's there, her sovereignty's cut off at EU Parliament. It got cut off. Her and everything in business got cut off. Now, there's no continuity of sovereignty in the Parliament here, because that's where it came from, the Queen, head of state. They're still calling her a Queen, head of state. Queen of England. Okay, Queen of England. And her new title is Queen Elizabeth II, Supreme Governor of the Church of England. That's just saying that, of what they're saying, but it doesn't tell you or disclose to you that she's coming in through the Supreme Court as another queen reinvented herself. Well, that's illegal. That's illegal, and that's how they're trying to make the federal law here. and in Australia, they consolidate the native land titles of the Turi Whanua Act 1993, which is our contract to Westminster through this flag. Okay, that's another contract. This is a contract, the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag, the Declaration of War flag. Okay, that's what it is, for pirates. It was made for pirates, okay? Now, they've got no sovereignty because she's in the EU Parliament as a threat on Westminster that she's pulling to pieces with the ones in there we're going to get out. That's promoting EU Parliament and the Queen. Okay, you got to get them out because they're the ones who are the alien that are ruining the rest of the good people in Britain and the world, and here in Australia and Canada. Okay, there are good people, but you have to find which ones are on that side, on her side. The iwi and the Maori here are on the Queen's side. They're on that contract. This contract, the King, is us, the hapu, or the ones who are knowledgeable of that contract. The hapu, the iwi, have usurped the hapu for the Queen's title. Okay, so it's one against the other. Queen versus King. Okay, so getting back to this complaint. Those are just some of the issues that they'll be up against. The oath of office, the sovereignty is nothing. The oath of office is not a queen, can't be. If it is, there's another queen operating here, illegally, coming through the back door in the Supreme Court. Oath of office and jurisdiction. Who do they get their jurisdiction of admiralty to do mortgages? Okay, who do they get their admiralty jurisdiction? It's going to come out in the end. It's King William the Fourth. That's my contract, not theirs. It's my contract. They're third party to this contract that I'm talking about. The complaint. That's the complaint wrapped up, okay, in my complaint. Now, if Simon or James rings the police, I'm warning you this time, you're in treason already, standing on the opposite side of me, on my land. On my land. I can have you hung. Okay? I'm just saying that specifically true, seriously. I can hang you with this flag. Straight up. You're breaking our law. You're breaking the King's law. The King of England. And I'm not breaking your laws. I'm just pointing out your law is corrupted in front of me on my land with your instruments that I want thrown off. I want your instruments thrown off my land so I can put the British original 339 deed title back on as customary, as no value yet. Okay? We don't need the value because we got it here in debt instruments. We don't need to mortgage any more land. We just find all the crooks and build them. Okay? There's heaps of them to come following this one. James, there's heaps more on these land blocks. Even this one where I am here, Jamie Peters, wherever he went with the Queen's head, that's a fraud. Okay? One equals many. Fraud. One equals the total. Fraud. One equals the whole world. Fraud. Another flag of free passage through the world where it went with the Queen. Okay, right, we're going to get down to this now. Now, Simon and James, do not ring the police because they said they don't want to have anything to do with it. Only under the circumstances, because they know all about me. I don't think they know about you. Okay? That's why I'm open. There's nothing to look for me in my house. It's all out there. No need to go and pull up my place upside down because too many people have got it. It's the people's. Okay? Now, if you ring the police, they're going to be looking at it on its circumstances, circumstantial evidence. They'll say, where's your evidence? That's the first thing they'll say, where's your evidence? You'll say the title. The police will say, well, there's a problem with it. There's a problem with the lawyer. Right? I'm too good at this. I've done my lessons. I've learned what to do in conveyancing, lawyers, judges, in my Rogan family, okay? I'm the Englishman going to England as a Rogan bloodline, okay? That's to go back and patch England up with this flag, okay? Now, complaint. I'm expecting the police to stand clear, like they said. I asked them, stay out of the road, because it's between me and you two people and your mortgage. Your lawyer has not had the decency to call me or ring me or write to me, and same with you. You haven't done anything about it, just ignoring it. And it's getting worse because you're getting the bill. You got the bill, I served you the bill, I served you 4 notices in person. You had to counter-claim my claims on my land. If you can't, then you lose it. That's all there is to it. End of the argument. The matter is at an end. Okay, in the legal terms, your contract is live with me, and you can't pull out of it because I'm the only one that can change it all, apart from the British government and the High Court of Admiralty wants their tax now because I've committed it into the UK government. Okay? That's the end of it. You didn't answer, that's why I had to go to a higher source of policing. Okay? Policing you. Because you have got fraud inside your police, and that's the problem. Okay, now I'm going to go to this, I'm going to read this complaint of mine now, so you can see. I'll just have to go to the where it's put. Oh, now I've gone lost where everything is. Hold on a second. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to start from the trespass notice. Okay, I've given you a trespass notice in print, in the letter and affidavits, and the warrant to arrest the property. The trespass notice is to James Pierce Brown, Simon Brent Roundtree of 3/70 Shortland Street, Auckland, 1010, Registered Office of City Works Depot Limited and Roundtree Trust Limited. Notice is under the Trespass Act 1980. Please take note that in accordance with the above Act, I withdraw my consent for you to be an illegal occupation on my patent land, chief rent property at 1/61 Cook Street, Auckland, Central City, formerly 61 Cook Street, under the previous registered owner, Doug Rickard Bell, fraudster. What did I put? Something attached as accessory. So you are attached as accessories to his fraud, conveyance, mortgage, financial instruments, blocking me from reoccupying my land. My corporate private companies levy debted you and your tenants to this invoice bill. You shall pay, and we shall salvage from you personally and your business forfeited to the creditors above. You have ignored our warning and are in illegal occupation for each day in illegal occupation of our land on this invoice till you vacate the property, and that was dated on the 20th of March 2015, signed. So that's the first page. I want to say now we're going on to my personal complaint and my corporate complaint to the police that I wanted to write on their documents at the desk, and I had every right to do it. Right. This levy debtor instrument, this is the complaint. Let's go, oh, hang on, I'll just put, hang on, that's the next page. I'll just go, oops, okay. So, okay, this is the page before the complaint. This is about the pound note. This is about this pound notes and the instrument that I'm going to bank. Okay, I'm going to bank this into the bank with the foreign currency account. I have to go see Tony Bond and talk to him because he handles the finance and investments, overseas investments. Okay, account. This levy debtor instrument is against your corporate account personally and others. Others have to the Auckland Central Police Station, handed to the Auckland Central Police Station and to, I'll make it bigger so I can read that. Sorry about that. I'll just start again. This is to Simon Roundtree and James Brown on their corporate company, Cityworks Depot Limited, okay, and Roundtree Trust Limited. This levy debtor instrument is against your corporate account personally and others, handed to the Auckland Central Police Station and to ANZ Bank against the Maui King William for pound note credit against your debt and forwarded to Scotland Yard, London, to recover your debts owed and settlement and your properties are at risk now and your businesses. I have asked Scotland Yard for assistance to have AILET investigations investigate the whole police force because of your interference on my private contract business with Doug Rickard Bell and James Brown and Simon Roundtree. You failed to counterclaim or rebut my affidavits now with the High Court of Admiralty in London and Scotland Yard Police to recover the money, assets, real property from you. Your tenants are now locked as accessories to you, your bill, and fraud land title, and will be evicted off my chief land with you. I have spoken to Auckland Central Police, waiting on Karen Malthus, M-A-L-T-H-U-S, Malthus, to assist me to get my land back, or it will be Scotland Yard seize it on our behalf. Britain UK Military Police is my legal contract King William for partners in business of fraud that's in your police force. I am to get a investigation now to show that I am the legal landowner, and you, your lawyer, with my counsel to England, Britain, UK government, something like that. You tampered. Oh, sorry. I'll read that again. I am to get a full investigation now to show that I am the legal landowner, and you tampered with my contract to England, Britain, UK government. This is the citation. 19th of March 2015, John Wanoa, levy creditor. So now we go on to the police complaint. Okay, so this is what I'm going to read as my complaint to the police, Auckland Central Police Station, over the counter. It goes, 1. Mortgage fraud on 1/61 Cook Street land against James Pierce Brown and Simon Brent Roundtree. 2. Forged land title road on this block of land to discharge investors. 3. Private commercial contract between my corporate company's patent landowner and two occupiers with a fraud mortgage transfer from a fraud seller not disclosed of our land interests as original organic owners. Affidavits are not refuted and made them default contract. That made you defaulted contract. 4. Already in the High Court of Admiralty in London and Scotland Yard as a complaint, British title corrupted. So you've corrupted our British title, that's what I'm saying, the Lynn's title. 5. The British original title of my John Rogan Judge and Manukau Wanoa titles are not on Lynn's registry as Maori Judge John Rogan title should be. 6. Offences. Failed to counterclaim my title. I have the right to reoccupy my land. 7. It's a conveyancing lawyer forgery problem I have against the owners, lawyers, and Hornibrook MacDonald lawyers. Andrew MacDonald and Mark Hornibrook lawyers. Conveyancing lawyers, okay? So now we are on to 8. The lawyers and judges have no jurisdiction over the Maui native Maori Judge Rogan Manukau British Government UK title that is corrupted. So basically the Lynn's title corrupted the original British title. That's the offence. That's the complaint I'm making. 9. The Lynn's manager is fraud. That's Don Grant. He forged the Little Crown Corporation Road on the block and discharged the investors 300 million. Went just like that. So that was another offence against the government, Lynn's manager. Ex-Australia Land Surveyor General for years and years and years. Forged those ones too. Those origines in Australia, you better listen to this. Is that all those titles that Don Grant was the Surveyor General, New South Wales, has forged all of those titles on this fraud. What goes around comes around. So we've caught him in the fraud with Doug Rickard Bell, Australian property developer from Sydney. We're still on number 9. I'm just explaining the fraud. The whole fraud and nothing but the fraud. So help me God, it is the fraud. Okay, that's what I'm saying to you. Please, that I'm identifying who was the problem. The problem with this land was the developer, Doug Rickard Bell, who went to Australia because he came from Sydney. Both of them immigrated as new immigrants in 2007 into New Zealand. Then away they went with their fraud, like pirates. Okay, that's why I'm saying I'm identifying 2 pirates, one in the government and one screwing my land. Okay, screwing my land. That's. I'm just saying a little story that they sold the land less than the government valuation. The government valuation 55 million, sold 38 million. Something's wrong when they sell it to James Brown and Simon Roundtree to hide that title away. Okay, because that was going to set the whole place alight with their fraud right through the country, right through the world. They were playing around with our titles, our British titles, so that they can screw the whole Canada, Australia, Britain, and America, New Zealand. Okay, they can use this as a benchmark, precedent, and consolidation of our titles. Okay? So that's the fence. That's the biggest fence Tony Gelden has at the police station, at Auckland Central Police Station, that my complaint was going in as, and you turned it off. Okay? You had no legal right to tamper or interfere with my complaint. That's what I'm saying. But, however, that's your station, and you said direct things to you. See, to keep it off the register. Fair enough, I just want to be straight up, and I'm following that path that I hold you liable to anybody walking on that land when I'm there to seize it. Okay, so leave me about my business, and my ship is sailing on the land now, past your bar and your courthouse, straight onto the land from Britain. Okay, with the flag flying on that land block. This flag will fly on that land block with the new building, 115 stories high. Okay, with the dead instruments that belong to the people. Right. The two main culprits of this fraud land transaction, and my 6 years chasing them, is Douglas Rickard Bell, and Don Grant, the forger in Linz of the old Sutherland surveyor signature. What he did was he got the old title, okay, the original British title. People, listen. He took it, cut the signature off, then pasted it onto the little road and made it 2012. From 1878 to 2012. Brand new title on the old title road of a British Crown road. These titles are British titles. And then through all the other interests, financial interest investors, and put them all into that new road title with the forged signature on it. Now, that's not sufficient of a complaint, Tony Gelden Heiss. What is? Because I know my lands. I know it back to front, because I've got the whole history ahead of anybody in the country about every piece of land here native. Okay, so that's why I want them off. I want them off the land. They have no contest against that, which was the original fraud case, and the rest are just accessories to that fraud in 2012. Back to 2008, Jamie Peters. It's still fraud from the council selling that land with a lease that runs out in 2025, people. So that still makes me the chief renter. Chief renter. There the ground rent is the Linz freehold titles. Okay? They're just occupation titles. Whereas the chief rent is the landlord. Kaitiaki, call it what you like in native. But the patent, organic, historic, ancestral inheritor of the land, according to the British title. Okay, according to the commerce of a British land title. Originations. This place was founded on the British title at Manukau Heads, on the Manukau Harbour, the Manukau Land Company, real estate company in Glasgow. Okay, that's the end of it. You can forget about Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei, because they ain't got nothing on this. They're going to get a bill too. Okay, we're on to number that was 8. Number 9. I just finished that. Number 9, the lens manager is fraud. He forged the Little Crown Road on the block and discharged the investors 300 million. That we just been through that. Okay, now we're on number 10 of my complaints on the video to the world and the people watching interested in their land in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Britain, America. Okay, listen up. 10. The mortgage loan is a fraud on the deposit in the bank for the land. Okay? The mortgage is a fraud. That's my complaint. I can say that on another video, not now because it takes a little bit longer. I'll make another video how the bank, the Westpac Bank, and now the ASB Bank on my land. Okay? So they got a problem. The ASB Bank is pulled into contract automatically as accessories to the fraud. That's a complaint. That's a complaint. Bank complaints. Okay? Now, number 11. The land legally belongs to me, the chief renter. That's a complaint. They are failing to acknowledge me as the original First Nation title. Not their one, not their Maori one. That's a 1945 Maori. When you see the Treaty of Waitangi 1840, they've got the word Maori there. Now, go and look at the British record, see if there's a word Maori there. You won't find it. You'll only find natives and Aborigine, not Maori. That word was invented by the Pākehā. Cheetahs, okay? Cheetahs and pirates from Australia. The Cheetahs and Pirates government this country in Wellington. John Key. He gets a bell. His name is in the complaint to the High Court of Admiralty in London. You'll see it on my Facebook, where my QC lawyer, Yu Taek Choi, notary public, signed to arrest John Key and strip his titles and his land and all his assets and bill him. Okay? So, tough for him. Tough for him. And now, I'm saying that he's just another one, the next one in line, and a whole series of others after that. Okay? So, we go on to the next one. I was just looking for something else, but I put something else on the mind. Where did I put them? Trespass. Okay. Here. So, while I'm on that subject with John Key, I've got the bank instruments here to bank. Now we've got that one there. That was for the Cook Street, the 2715,800 billion a day. Okay, billion a day. That one, and that one is to the government, John Key. 970 million trillion pound notes split between all the governments in the world who are corrupting the whole world. They get that bill. Washington DC, private company, owned by the Queen. Okay. City of London, owned by the Evelyn Rothschild, the Rothschild banks, and the Bank of England, foreclosed with that. The Queen's Company in Washington DC, foreclosed with that. And Vatican City, owned by the Pope, and the Black Pope, the White Pope, and the Grey Pope, and the Black Pope. Okay? Invoice that bill too. So those three corporations, and the elite, the Bilderbergs, NATO, UN, EU, Parliament, get the bill. Get this bill. Anybody who corrupted King William's mortgage flag. Okay? Anything attached to his mortgage flag. And the royal families, the 300 royal families, they get this bill. Okay? They get that bill from the King. The King William. Right there. King William. Okay? And Robert the Bruce. The land titles. Okay? The Scottish land titles. I'm talking about here, on this land. The Scottish Land Company, called the Manukau Land Company in Scotland sold his lands. Okay? In 1840. William Cornwallis Simon came here, and he was the captain that said, like what I am, a surrogate king, I proclaim this land belongs to the King of England. Okay, so I'm saying, I proclaim this land belongs to Moai Crown King William Trust. In a story. Okay, so Roger Bruce Land Titles, creator of land titles, and King William, creator of mortgages and bank loans and bank money and commerce and free trade, free passage through the world, and military protection of our business from England, Britain to New Zealand and Pacific Islands. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to look for that. So, John Key comes into that as debtor. Levy debtors. Everyone with the power note is a levy debtor. I'm just explaining. So you know. Don't forget. This is to the bank. Okay? This lot with the banknotes goes to the bank as soon as I talk to Simon, James Brown and Simon Brown Roundtree today. Okay? So now we go on to 12. Because the owners failed to refute my affidavits on Facebook, is admissible in the High Court of Admiralty in London. Okay? So, they had their chance. They failed to refute my affidavits. Simple as that. That's the law of maxims. Maxims of law is that you have a claim and a claimant. Claim and a counterclaim. Okay, so if they don't respond, they lose. Okay, outright. Okay, 13. My complaint. These are my complaints, people, that I'm telling you verbally as a verbal complaint into the police station. 13. New Zealand government got no Queen sovereignty. I stopped the Governor, Alex Chernoff of Australian Victoria State, from using Queen Victoria as their monarch. This is why New Zealand Linds get where New Zealand. This is where New Zealand Linds gets its authority from. They have no monarch now, and I am the King William for monarch in Britain. Okay, so we go on the next page. This is another. I made another one of a complaint, 23rd of March 2015, James Brown, Simon Roundtree. 1. I serve you this invoice for the levy debt owed for your part in the fraud forged land title corrupted. It corrupted the British John Rogan title, Wanoa and Manukau title to Auckland city boundary area. 2. I serve you this trespass notice that from 12th of March 2015 you are in illegal occupation of our patent land, and your tenants are debted as well to recover, salvage the debts to the rent chiefs, the Moai Crown King William IV Trust. That's a private company, by the way, just like Washington DC, the Queen's company. This is the King's company. Okay, private. You can't enter into any contract with it unless we contract you into it. Okay, so we got Ngā Atua e Wā Aotea Limited, a registered company in New Zealand. That is a corporation. That's me, the corporate person. The other corporate person is my name in capital letters. That's another corporate company of me. And our other private company is Moai Crown in small letters with brackets. That's a private company. That's the Crown that I'm talking about over the Crown Corporation's crown. Okay? We've got the real Moai Crown hat on his head as a dirt earth crown to his buried deep in East Island, marking his earth property. Okay? That's why they stole them, but they took them to England to think they are me. No, they are white and I'm brown. The difference, okay? The difference. The DNA is not the same behavior. I don't steal memorials, people. Listen, your Aborigines, natives in Australia, you ask them, you say, I never steal your white people's memorials to my ancestors. Why did you steal my ancestors' memorials? See? And that automatically becomes a complaint to the police of theft, not prized possessions, but theft of a culture. That is our culture. That is not your white people's culture. You stole, and the memorials, and the obelisks, and the pyramids, putting on your pound notes. That's theft of a culture, heritage. Okay, it doesn't belong to you. You've got your laws that are not our laws. Your laws are not our laws. We're using King William's laws because that's what Westminster goes on. We have the right to be parallel with you with those laws, the same as the New Zealand government is using our Westminster laws, 1852 Constitution, and the sovereignty of a parliament, not the real sovereignty of a king, and they use the jurisdiction of a vice admiral, not a real admiral or a king admiral. See, that's the difference between me and anybody else on these lands. Okay, and so that is a official complaint verbally to the police today in this video. Okay, so that was number 2. 3. You foot the bill for your occupation, which is mounting past what your assets are worth, Simon Roundtree and Jen Brown, because the banks, lawyers, judges, police are levied in the fraud cover-up that is public online, YouTube, Twitter, Google and Facebook, as evidence in the High Court of Admiralty in London and Scotland Yard. So the complaint has gone further than your police station. That's what I'm saying. We've got others looking in and watching me conduct a High Court of Admiralty case online. I am allowed to conduct a High Court online, straight to Britain, because they want their tax and their revenue from it. Okay? I'm sitting there as King's Bench on the opposite side of the Queen's Bench in any court in the world where the Queen is sitting with her QC, judges and lawyers. Okay? I have a thing or two to say about that. 3. That was 3. 4. Let's get on with it. The complaint and trespass notice and eviction invoice is lodged with Auckland Police Station as a private commercial levy land contract defaulted by you not counterclaiming or rebut our affidavits and historic substantial evidence. The complaint is you and police assisted in the fraud Douglas Ricard Bell and his part in the whole bank mortgage fraud and real estate companies, lawyers, why the bill is high is assessed on all those involved on the land transfer corrupted British title. That's what I'm saying. Your land title has corrupted my British John Rogan Judge title. 339 deed title. The first title in Auckland province. Okay? That's a complaint that the police don't want to write it on their register as a complaint. 5. You owe 7 days to the 19th of March 2015 and will be due again in another 7 days. You can't get out of a defaulted debt and cannot prove title LINZ exists beyond the fraud title. What I'm saying here is it's reached another 7 days of the same bill. That's another pound note to bank. Okay, it drags in everybody right through to pay your bill. That's only your bill. The police's bill is £1 trillion a day. Okay, that's real. You can't do anything about it because the king is talking. When the king is talking, no one speaks. Okay, that's the end of that. 5. The police, and I give consent as the King of England in this capacity under our flag and our jurisdiction and the new government, The police have got their bill. That's number 5. The police have got their bill for this mass fraud. Why? Aaron Pascoe, Detective Senior Sergeant and Criminal Investigator of the Auckland Central Police Station, Aaron Pascoe, got kicked out with Mike Clement because of the fraud in the police with Roastbusters. Criminal Investigator Karen Malthus, unable to challenge me with no jurisdiction in this Auckland region, according to the Admiralty Mortgage Law. There is no police or lawyer able to stop what I am doing because they're out of their jurisdiction of Admiralty. They are not lawyers, conveyancing or whatever, who deals with Admiralty, maritime, law, as far as mortgages, fraud is concerned. They've got a problem. The police have a problem because they cannot prove without others' information to make a Crown Solicitor case for their business. Okay? They cannot use this case in their courts because it's locked in a higher court than theirs. Okay? The case is already in motion. It is already in motion. You cannot tamper or interfere with a court hearing that's in motion. Okay, so you're following this. Now, we're going on to the complaint is on Facebook, extensive, all the way through, all the way through, and your names are now online, alleged fraud accessories. So you have to give up the land when the debt collectors come and seize everything, and the tenant's property as well, the business assets as well. The police must not action invoice owed debts. The police must action the invoice owed debts. What I'm saying here is this: the police have to act on this complaint that now we have a debtor that owes a bill, that we can use the police to seize property because of the debt and the invoice bill. Okay, that's why it's online, because the police won't want to put it on their records because they are the bill as well for tampering or interfering or damaging my business ship of Admiralty. Okay, so this is tops, people. This is the tops. This is as far as you can go with this banking instruments and mortgages. Right. The Lynn's boss, Don Grant, forged the title, and you both forged the title, and you both for occupying the land while I served you warrants, notices, that are legal and bound the Crown with my Kusi lawyer, Utai Choi, shared the complaint, signed the complaint, my lawyer signed the complaint, and claimed to the High Court of Admiralty in London. What I'm saying here is this. My QC lawyer has confirmed a complaint about that land block before you bought it. Okay? It's in motion as a complaint to a higher authority because this one wouldn't listen. The police wouldn't listen, so I had to go to the Scotland Yard. Okay? So we've got military involved, High Court of Admiralty involved in London, and Scotland Yard. Okay? The Metropolitan Police in London. They're watching this, people. They're watching this, and our over 1.5 billion viewers watching this as well. Okay, so I've got plenty of witnesses around the world that can vouch for this. Okay, we're hoping that there'll be members with us and join the 250 countries in this fraud case. Number 8. You and your conveyance lawyers fail to rebut my affidavits of British land title claim. You can't win in any court because you have no queen, no sovereignty, no monarch, no constitution, no jurisdiction to match King William IV, the inventor of the mortgage bank loans, Acts of Parliament. That's the end of that one. 9. The British government will demand their tax from the invoices as it is going there. The company accounting system invoice billing, so you're stuck with it with the contract debt. What I'm saying in that number 9 is the complaint is that the accounting system I'm using is British. It is a company that will recover debt, and they have computer generated bill getting systems that I'm using. So they are in on the act now. Okay? Well, they are in on the act of recovery of debts, especially debts this high. 10. Number 10, the last one now. You must warn your tenants, well, it's too late now, of impending seizure now, a police matter, out of court settlement. No Solicitor General, no Attorney General, a fraud bill levied too. So, in number 10, the last one of my complaints, there's more, but I only went that far, is that the Attorney General is implicated in this fraud. The Solicitor General is implicated in this fraud. They're named, okay? I've named them as fraudsters in this mass fraud land transfer title. The whole government is stuck right there with the police, the lawyers, the judges, and the landowners and the property developers. They're all in this bill and their own police bill with those companies, the 28 companies. The police and their agents, the contractors, get the trillion-pound bill. Those companies. Okay? They can't do anything about it because it's locked with the British government, my partners in business. Okay? So that's really what I made this video was for the complaint, so that you can hear me say it and record it and watch the events unfold in front of your eyes. I'll just check this to make sure I've gone right to the end. Oh, what was that one? 10. So there was number 10, okay. Lawyers and judges have no jurisdiction. Oh yeah, I did that one. So that's the end of the complaints. There was only 4 pages of complaints. So our video is still running, and I just make this point clear. It's daylight now. It's now 8:14 a.m. and I think I started this at 7 o'clock, so it's about an hour running now. But it's to inform you what is happening here. I will show you the fraud in the bank. It'll split the banks apart with this flag, and the mortgages, and it's more or less the house of cards at this point in time. Now, once more, this video will get out before Simon Roundtree or James Brown, the landowners, call me. This is what I'm expecting to hear James say. John, we have gone back to our convincing lawyer and we have identified the mistake. The police have called to investigate and they have established that I have credible evidence to prove there is a complaint of fraud evident, and you're best not to complain to the police because we've said to John not to complain to the police on record. So we're asking you not to complain either, because it's going to open a can of worms to the whole country and put the whole country at risk, because it's gone too far. It's gone too far, and there is too much information online, and it's implicating us in this fraud. We've asked John not to film anymore. He has promised us he won't film anymore. That was after this last one. And they won't be there after the land is taken back and reoccupied by me and my chief. Now, Simon and James, you'll get your money back, like how I was telling you all along, because that bill is not going away. We're billing the same bill again today. You'll get another bill. And that bill is going to wipe out a few businesses because of ignorance. You ignored me as being the King of England. Legally, on paper, in Westminster Lower House, where this flag and our partnership with the King, William IV, is institute law and ready to go in the upper house. Okay, when it goes in the upper house, that's me standing there as the King of England. There's nothing anybody can do about it, but the Lords are just about to be sacked, and the Queen about to be sacked with this flag for the fraud. That's another complaint. That's another complaint, bigger than this one. Okay, so it overarches everything that's happening here in the country as financial interest of ours. It's massive. When you're looking at these pound notes, James, that's the way it is. That is the way it is. And these are the warrants. These seals on here locks you into contract with the British military and the British government and the High Court of Admiralty in London, now Scotland. You're locked in that. Okay? You're locked with a live king, HRH Lord High Constable and Magistrate of Lorehaven Castle, Geoffrey Ross Foley. Okay? He's in Australia. So, he's a Wales, King of Wales, and, like he says, he's King of England. So, that's up to him to talk for himself, but I'm just acknowledging him. That's all. As legacy that Foley trained King William in Admiralty. Okay? I'm just telling the truth about HRH Geoffrey Foley as being part of the mix here in Britain to patch it up again. Okay? To patch it up again and start fresh with no more fraud. No more fraud. No more corruption. Out with those surname people we name. And here in the New Zealand, John Key, first one. Chris Phillipson, next. I forget what the Solicitor General is. I've got his name there. And the Governor General, Jerry Mataparai. Andrews. Okay? When you look at a Maori, check the name to make sure it's right. It's an Andrews. It's not a Mataparai. It's Andrews. See the deception? Mirroring themselves here. He can't prove anything above what I'm saying straight to Britain. Okay? He's got the Queen on one side. One more time. Queen on one side, contract. King on the other side, contract. Queen, debtor, king, creditor. End of story. End of story, people. So that's all I wanted to say, really, other than that. To those owners, please hurry up, because by midday today, the bill will double. That one I just gave you, the invoice will double at midday today. No doubt about it. Your part of the bill comes out of that, and the rest of the people who are accessories to fraud comes out of their pocket as well. Now, the biggest debtors here is Bailey's Real Estate. They will virtually lose all their business to Moai Crown King William Trust. Okay? There'll be a lien right over it and a levy right over it. A levy right over the country and right over the Pacific and right over the world for that matter with the 970 million trillion pound note. Okay? So all these little bits come out of that. All these little bits come out of the 970 million trillion pound notes. Gold bullion and pound notes currency. Okay? So, best get on the phone, call me, and tell me you forfeited the property and transferring the title into Moai Crown King William IV 1B Trust. Private company. Okay? Otherwise, if that's not appropriate for you, then Ngā Atua e Wā Aotea Limited, corporate company of New Zealand. Corporate company of New Zealand, to keep it in perspective with the corporations, against the corporations. But the private company overrules the corporations. Okay? So the king is king of commerce and revenue in the courts. Okay? King's Bench, Royal Revenue. And I'm the creditor in there, and marshal, judge, everything wrapped up in one ball. Right? And thrown all over the place to pull in the debtors. Okay? So, you two, the debt collectors, will be moving in to seize the property any time now and contracted to do so. So, better get on the phone and ring me and follow what I'm saying to save face of the police and the government and everybody else about that land block. You'll get your money back, all of it, plus your inconvenience of being dicked around by incompetent land people in that government. It's riddled with fraud that we're exposed here. Thank you very much. We'll see you later today. And wait for the next call. And to our mate Tamati Reid, the Kaumatua chief down there on the east coast at Rangitukia, mate, to you, we'll be there soon. I shall get this sorted, come have a meeting with you, and then off to England. If I can get away quickly there, then I can go and get our party, the Moai King William party, going. And 1 month to do it. We need to get there because it's 5 years before we can get in again. So we need to get the party going, even if it's a little party. And I know, Matt Taylor, to you, Matt, thank you very much for all your help to get the Moai King William party published in your papers and online on YouTube and Facebook. That developments will be in coalition together when I get there, because we were supposed to be there. But that's fine. You've gone back to the SOS Independent Party, but that can change. We can change anything when we get there. Jamie might be a bit late. She might have to come later because of passport. But I was just talking to her yesterday, and so far everything's on track with her being not on Facebook. People, I apologize for her because her computer's not too good, and we're waiting to get some new stuff, and so I just told her to wait till I get this sorted out, because no one else can do anything with it. No, not even a lawyer can do anything with it. This case, and it was only going to be a private person to do it. And so to you, Tamati, we'll sort things out with the projects there and the Kermitics, with the power projects and the platforms, and also the land block at the Haho 7B. I'll have to have a meeting with them and try and ring Mano Raro and get his executive together, and so I can have a meeting there at the same time, and do the same after this land block here and go there, and the motel as well, and the C12 Paragaro C12 block. So it looks like I'll be going to the meeting they're having for the Maragaro C12 block. That's the one by the lighthouse, right on the eastern tip of the North Island. That's my ancestral lands to Tahiti, to East Island, and to London with the Moai statue and the rising sun, and all our own history, not the Crown's history, not the Maori's history, but the Moai original hapu Pacific title to the original British title. So the British have got the Moai standing in London. There's a Moai standing here in Auckland. That's the title I'm talking about. And the Moai is sitting in a museum in Dunedin with a hat on his head. That's the crown. The Pākehās were so clever to put the Moai statue down there with the crown on his head, because all their Pākehās went down there. So that belongs to my family, the Wanoa Royal Native Tahitian family, okay? And it's connected to the Rogan royal family in England, okay? So East Island, 12 midday, right? This is the time zone of the title to this well. 12 o'clock, midday, 6 a.m. on the East Cape, on the Marangaro C12 block at Te Pito, on the Haha block next to it. Te Pito, 6 a.m. rising first sun in the world, right there. And the shortest distance to the sun is right there of the world. And midday, midnight, exactly in London, where the other statue lies. Those are the 3 points around the sun line of Ra, sun god, Moai, on East Island. Okay? So when it's 12 midday, when it's 12 midnight on East Island, it's 6 p.m. here in New Zealand, and it's 6 a.m. in London. Okay? So, sorry, I got that wrong the first time. It's 12 midday on East Island. It's 6 a.m. at East Cape, Te Pito. From Te Pito on East Island to Te Pito, birth of New Zealand, birth of East Island, 6 a.m. And in England, London, 6 p.m. That's better. 6 p.m. Okay? And around the other way, when it's 12 midnight on East Island, it's 6 p.m. at East Cape, and 6 a.m. on the dot, on the sun line to Ra in London and Ghana. London and Ghana on the same line is still 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. around the other way. That's a perfect triangle. That is a perfect triangle. That has nothing to do with pyramids. That is the triangle of the positions of the Earth planet that the sun goes around, of life and energy force. Okay? And the south is up of the world, and the north is at the bottom, closest to the devil. Closest to heaven, north, up that, south, up that way, because that's why the sun's up this way. It's hotter here than down here, as miserable as anything. That's why they're upset people shooting everybody up down this end. In the west, bad west, darkness. Okay? West of darkness, and east, sun, light, and peace on earth. Okay? I'm just telling you why Moai is sitting in those three positions on this planet, buried deep in the earth. Right? Moai is buried deep inside the earth for a reason. And there's lots of Moais, right? Lots of Moais around the island, but you don't know which one. Okay? So the Queen Victoria picked the Moai up and took it to London and hid him for over 100 years. You see how deceptive a white-skinned person is to a brown skin? At that time fixed in time to these commercial contracts with this flag. I'm just saying the connection of the aliens, who are the British and the Europeans, that came onto our land as flies and dropped in from the ocean, hopped on the land, put their flag up, and away they went with their law. Okay? We have our own law, our native law, and we have King William's law. We have the right to go back to 1830 to 1837 and practice that law, because it's stuck in a contract. And you can't change it. No one can change it. Only me to go to London and change it if I want to. And can't change the king either unless I abdicate it to someone else. Okay? If you people like me to be a king, fine. If you don't, then choose another one. Okay? That's all I have to say. But I'm speaking for the king. I'm speaking for his royal revenue. I'm speaking for his ship of Admiralty. And I'm speaking for his bank notes and his business around the world with free trade, free passage through the world with e-flag. Okay? Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I'm talking too much about things. Well, it's fresh. And we hope for a good outcome today, success, so that I can get off to England with or without Jamie, and she can catch up later. Okay, but she wants to come now because Sue Young has got something going on there for me to make me happy. So let's the happiness roll on. Okay? Bye. See ya later. And be nice to each other.